I make this pledge and oath on the Bible because I do not have a Quran. This is to the Lord, so that all of you may learn and understand that I am true. Lord, I am not afraid to die. I'm not afraid of my enemies. I will die for what I believe, and I have no problem with that. I am at peace with that. Please allow these people the understanding to know that what they do is not right. The homosexuals to return to you and give up their wicked ways. The feminists to cease in their rebellion and stop thinking the same way as Babylon, Lilith, and Jezebel. The racists, the oppressors, the ignorants to open their eyes to the truth and see. You are almighty, Lord. You have brought my dad here to this country without a penny in his pocket and made him the top, if not among the top, brain surgeon in America, who has practiced for about 30 years in one of the most populated cities in America, in the most populated state. You have made me the most underrated and the top martial artist in California, and most likely all of America. Without you, I would be nothing. Without you, I would know nothing. Without you, my arguments would be nothing instead of what they are. So near perfect, but only you are perfect. I am just your servant. I am just among your faithful. Amen. Now I would say to you, and let me make this clear if you do not understand, this is not a plea for mercy. Make no mistake, it is you who are at my mercy. Because I have the God on my side, the one true God. If God is with me, who is against me? But fools and the damned. If this is what they do to the top brain surgeon in America, and I say this not only because of his skill and wisdom and talent, but because of his countless charities, the countless dollars he's given away in free service. If this is what they would do to his namesake, for I am Junior, what would they do to yours? If the local law enforcement, who he has helped out so much, would turn a blind eye when he has saved some of their lives, he has healed some of their loved ones, and they have turned a blind eye to what is going on with me, what would they do to yours? What have you done? We all know my dad has done more for California, for America, than all of you put together. What, you fought in a war or something? And that's helping the people of America? How? Were you defending us from a foreign invader? From an intruder from a foreign nation? Perhaps you shot down a plane that was going to drop a bomb on California because that's what it would take for you to have come close to what my father has done. And let's not forget my uncle, the prosecutor. What do you think he would think of how you're treating his nephew if he was alive today? Let's not forget my great-grandfather on my mother's side, who was the closest person to her in her entire family, according to what she has told me. A 33 1/3 degree Freemason. If this is what they do to the family members of the highest ranking Masons in history, what would they do to you? My mother told me that I'm a descendant of Daniel Boone. If this is what they would do to the descendant of Daniel Boone, what would they do to you? How can you call yourself a patriot doing this to the descendant of Daniel Boone for free speech? If this is what they do to me, a man who has given up everything, his future, his relationships, everything but his soul, his life, to help the world, what would they do to you? If there is no limit to their treachery, why do you side with them? They're not just irresponsible. This is not some kind of a mistake. They've been doing this for quite some time. And we all know this is not because of my future conversion to Islam, my current conversion to Islam. No, because they were doing this when I was a Christian. Who knows when this began? A decade, maybe more? It surely has intensified in the last few years. But who knows when it truly began? I assure you, if this is what they do to me, they will rape and murder members of your family. I assure you. And you are helping them do it. Go ahead and tell your children, I am helping the people who rape and kill people for their political beliefs, because they are such control freaks that they cannot stand the thought of losing control to the righteous, to the God-fearing. Ask yourselves, does it matter what side of history you are on? Or does it matter what side of heaven you will be on? You and your children. Because that which you do will affect your family for many generations. Look it up in the Bible. Do you doubt it? Regardless of what may happen in the future, you already know that I'm a man of my word. You've been watching me enough. You know that I've kept my oath, and you know I will keep this one as well. You know how this ends. I can look my Maker in the eye and tell him that I stood for everything that is righteous, and I did not oppress anybody. Can you say the same? Name one homosexual who I've harmed, who I've laid a hand on up to this point. So then why do you harm me? Trying to force me into situations where I have to take harmful medication you know I do not need. That's why you're doing this in the first place, to create the behavior which justifies, in the eyes of the feeble-minded, setting up the situation to coerce me into taking medication. So you know that I don't need it. That's why you're doing this in the first place. Therefore, you are harming me physically, emotionally, psychologically. Not as much as you would like, because the Lord is with me. But you are doing it nevertheless. And who among you have I harmed? Who among you have I caused physical harm to? Who among you have I persecuted for their political beliefs? Regardless how passionate I make my arguments, they are based on spirituality, on the truest religion the history has ever known, and they are based on a deep desire to do what is right. I have lived my life walking with the Lord. What makes you think that you will ever be forgiven for what you have done to me? And that's not to mention what you have done to others similar to myself. I'm the top martial artist in California, and I'm being persecuted for my political beliefs by people who should know better. Many of them educated people they have every reason to know better. But their petty emotions have gotten in the way of what is right. Their greed, their desire to persecute the opposition, and their lack of faith in God and the afterlife has gotten in the way of their ascension. Thank you.